Yeah.
This is I'm coming here. Okay, this is the regular scheduled meeting of the Joliet City Council for May 16th, 2017. Presiding over the meeting is Mayor Robert Odekirk. The invocation will be given by Pastor Matthew Robinson of Westminster Presbyterian Church at 1015 Winthrop Avenue here in Joliet, after which he will lead us in a pledge to the flag. Please rise.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you. Please join me in prayer. O God of all creation, we thank you for this day and the many blessings we have received. We thank you for the people with whom we have been in contact, our family, our friends, strangers. We thank you for the ability to use our minds to discern your will and work to create a strong and healthy community. We thank you for our community and all who serve it, for those who teach and those who protect, for those who clean and those who repair, for those who work in parks and those who work on roads, and for those who plan and those who make the plans happen, for those who heal and those who counsel, for those who govern and those who elect, for all those who live into the best example of what it means to be a citizen. We thank you for our community. We pray for all in our community who are hungry, unemployed, or uninsured. We pray for all in our community who are mentally or physically ill. We pray for all in our community who live in violence. For these and all the burdens of our larger community, Lord, hear our prayers. As this meeting begins this evening, I pray for each person here. Give each person clarity of mind, creativity, compassion, due diligence, integrity, and a sense of humor. Give them listening ears and thoughtful words. Give them presence of mind and an open heart. And all of God's people said,
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So much better with clothes on.
Is it true what he says about you?
It's all true. Unfortunately, I'm not going to deny a word. Pat would never lie. Thank you. Do a lot of other things.
Thank you so much. We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilman Dickinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda under Mayor is a proclamation recognizing Jesus Luna for his boxing victories. You can come forward. If you're here for this proclamation, you can come forward to the podium.
Congratulations. Thank you. Whereas Jesus E. Luna was victorious and claimed the 2N1D, Two Nations, One Dream, 132-pound title on April 1st, 2017 in Mexico City. And whereas the program was held in 3 cities, Chicago, Mexico City, and Acapulco, Mexico, with each city having 20 members between the ages of 8 and 17 years old. Whereas it did include intensive training, the last 3 months ending with a tournament showdown between 2N1D Chicago members and boxers from the area. Jesus claiming the Chicago title, and whereas Jesus then went against Mexican City's 2N1D undefeated champion to claim the title. And whereas Jesus is 17 years old, has been boxing since the age of 14, started out in Luna Boxing Gym here in Joliet, Illinois. Whereas He has claimed additional titles over the years. The 2016 Illinois State Champion, finished in the top 10 in the 2016 Junior Olympics National Tournament in Dallas, Texas, and in 2015 Junior Olympic Regional Runner-Up. In 2014, Silver Gloves State Champion, just to mention a few. Now, whereas I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby commend Jesus E. Luna for his boxing victories and wish him the best of luck and success in the future endeavors. Congratulations.
I just want to appreciate for being here and for giving me this proclamation. I want to thank all my coaches, all my 3 coaches that are here with me, and my beautiful mother who's here. She's my #1 supporter. I'm very humbled and very grateful for this proclamation, and I promise to always do my best and work harder and do more achievements for the city of Joliet.
Next is a proclamation recognizing the month of May 2017 as Preservation Month. If you're here for this proclamation, come forward to the podium.
Whereas May is National Preservation Month and the National Trust for Historic Preservation is promoting the theme, "This Place Matters." Throughout our nation's communities, there are significant places that have contributed to our American experience. The City of Joliet celebrates Preservation Month with an annual Preservation Award, which is presented to recognize local efforts in preserving our architectural heritage. Whereas, when the National Trust for Historic Preservation declared National Preservation Month's theme as "This Place Matters," the hope was that communities and organizations across the country would help spread the word about places that tell our nation's story. Whereas, in 1990, an ordinance establishing the City of Joliet Historic Preservation Commission was approved. This year, the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission celebrates 26 years serving the City of Joliet. Whereas, Joliet Historic Preservation Commission is dedicated to preserving the heritage of Joliet, educating the community of the positive impact of preservation and making a difference in the community. Whereas the City of Joliet has 2 National Register districts, a number of National Register landmarks, several local historic districts, and numerous local landmarks. These districts and landmarks are worth seeing, saving, and celebrating. Now, therefore, I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on the behalf of the Joliet City Council, do hereby recognize the contributions and dedication of the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission and proclaim May as Preservation Month in the City of Joliet. Dated May 16, 2017, Mayor Robert Odekirk.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't expect this tonight. But, I think it's very important that we try to preserve everything here in Joliet. And I would put one plug in. Last Saturday, we had a limestone tour. We actually went to All Saints Creek Church. The father there was very, very informative. I could have sat and listened to him all afternoon on theology. So I'll now let Sharon, if you want to know anything about the history of Joliet, you have to ask this lady here, Sharon. I'm a new kid on the block on the Historical Commission compared to this lady.
That's okay. I would like to thank the city for helping us with that limestone tour, because I think you picked up the cost of the buses, and that was great. There were, kids, so that was wonderful to have kids on the bus, and we also had a lot of seniors, and I think they really appreciated the fact that, you helped us arrange this. So thank you very much.
Next proclamation is recognizing the University of St. Francis St. Clair campus renovations, former Guardian Angel Home, located at 1550 Plainfield Road, as the 12th Annual Joliet Historic Preservation Award.
Well, in the spirit of Preservation Month, we have an outstanding project that was just completed by the University of St. Francis with respect to their renovations of the St. Clair campus over on Plainfield Road. So I'm going to read a proclamation here by the mayor recognizing the University of St. Francis St. Clair campus renovations, formerly the Guardian Angel Home, located at 1550 Plainfield Road, as the 12th Annual Joliet Historical Preservation Award. Whereas in celebration of Preservation Month in the city of Joliet, the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission wishes to recognize the University of St. Francis St. Clair campus renovations located at 1550 Plainfield Road as the 12th Annual Joliet Historic Preservation Award. And whereas the University of St. Francis has helped preserve the former Guardian Angel Home through a complete building renovation and adaptation reuse of the building and property, including preservation of the main interior, hallways, and significant site improvements such as new parking lots, stormwater detention, and landscaping. And whereas the historic use of this building and campus for orphaned and dependent children was established when Cardinal Mundelein dedicated the new building on May 16, 1926, and children moved into the completed building on October 10, 1926. During this long history, the building has also housed other social service agencies and provided important community benefits. And whereas the following renovations, which were completed in 2016, the St. Clair campus now houses state-of-the-art classrooms, nursing and computer labs, administrative offices, and student common spaces, and will continue to serve university students and the larger community in the Franciscan tradition for years to come. Now therefore, I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, and on behalf of the Joliet City Council and the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission, extend our most sincere appreciation to the University of St. Francis.
I'm Frank Pasco, Provost at the University of St. Francis, and this is Regina Block, czar for marketing and development. Just want to thank the city very much. We're proud to be a member of this great city, Joliet. We're proud to be the university of Joliet. And more than anything, we're especially happy that we're able to keep the Guardian Angel Home in the Franciscan tradition, in the tradition of our founding congregation. So thank you very much.
The next proclamation is recognizing the efforts of Mr. Robert Dykes with a certificate of appreciation for preserving his single-family residence located at 500 Western Avenue. The brother is here. Brother.
Is Christopher Dykes here? Oh, here you are. Hi. How are you? And there's a lot of neighbors and friends from the cathedral area, and I know that they are here for this proclamation. So if you'd all like to stand or come around the podium, that would be great. All friends of Bob. Unfortunately, Bob left us terribly quickly due to an unfortunate, terrible accident. So, are we all ready? Okay. Proclamation posthumously recognizing the efforts of Mr. Robert Dykes with a certificate of appreciation for his nearly 5 years of work preserving his single-family residence located at 500 block of Western Avenue. In celebration of Preservation Month in the city of Joliet, the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission wishes to posthumously recognize the efforts of Mr. Robert Dykes with a certificate of appreciation for his nearly 5 years of work preserving his single-family residence located at 500 Western Avenue. Whereas the stately brick mansion known as the A.J. Bates House was built in 1890 and is a contributing structure in both the Upper Bluff National Register Historic District and the Upper Bluff Local Historic District. Distinct features on this three-story, 4,764 square foot home include a cone-shaped cupola, covered wraparound porch, 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a grand entryway with an ornate wood-carved staircase, inlaid wood floors, built-in break fronts, and bookcases, 2 fireplaces, and the original porte-cochere. Whereas Mr. Dykes spent the last years of his life devoted to preserving this grand historic home, including repairs to the exterior of the front porch, new decking, and extensive interior restoration work on the main level. His efforts are a testament to his ambitions and vision for the property and his interest in this historic neighborhood. Now therefore, I, Robert Odekirk, Mayor of the City of Joliet of Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council and the Joliet Historic Preservation Commission, extend our most sincere appreciation to the family and friends of Mr. Dykes as we posthumously recognize his efforts with a certificate of appreciation for preserving his single-family residence located at 500 Western Avenue, and dated May 16th and signed by Mayor Robert Odekirk.
I just want to say thanks, I know he'd be very proud.
Very proud. You like a picture with the mayor? Sure. Okay.
Let's go to the front.
Next on our mayor's Mayor Odekirk appointments. None this evening. Next, we have a presentation. It's an introduction of the new Rialto Director, Valerie Devine, and Rialto Square Theater update by Chairman Bob Flatto.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Good evening, all. I am Bob Flatto, Chairman of the Will County Metropolitan Exposition and Auditorium Authority. Our seven-member board was formally organized in January of 2017, so we are somewhat new at this job. In addition to your financial support, we are deeply appreciative of your understanding and patience as we move forward implementing the many changes we are experiencing, which will be shared with you in detail by Valerie. At this point, I want to thank many, many people, including Mayor and City Council, the Rialto Square Theater volunteers, the Rialto Square staff, the many, many concerned citizens of Joliet and Will County that I personally and our board and all of you have heard from, the vendors of Rialto Square Theater for their extraordinary patience, the Rialto Square Theater Foundation, Pat Mudron for serving as liaison from the council to the authority board, the past and present WCMEAA board, and last but not least, our interim executive directors, Jack Erickson and Tim Berry. And I apologize if I miss anyone, because I very well might have. So in the short time we've been on the job, we've made significant progress. We've finalized a multi-year agreement with VenueWorks to manage the theater operations. We've transitioned the Rialto Square Theater employees to VenueWorks. We finalized a $600,000 loan from the Rialto Square Theater Foundation and used that proceeds, or a majority of that proceeds, to pay off theater vendors that were long past due. We've resumed stage performances and much more involvement in community events, as you'll hear from Valerie. However, we are not without challenges as we move forward. We must balance financial risk with programming desires. The 2 Rialto North building, in terms of retaining and attracting tenants, is a deep source of concern. And of course, we need to look for a dedicated long-term funding source, which is an absolute necessity. At this time, I'm going to introduce Valerie Devine to you. I'd be surprised if most of you don't know her already. You probably know she comes from the Paramount in Aurora. She brings a number of years of experience, and we couldn't be more blessed to have her on board. Valerie?
Thank you, Bob. Mayor Odekirk and the City Council. Since April 1st, a mere 7 weeks ago, the staff at the Rialto Square Theater have been employed by a company out of Ames, Iowa called VenueWorks. Founded in 1996 and under the leadership and guidance of Steve Peters, VenueWorks has amassed in excess of 35 venues in more than 20 states, either in a management capacity, like at the Rialto, or under a consulting basis. VenueWorks has remained focused on their mission to maximize the presentation and revenue of events at their clients' venues for the cultural, recreational, educational, and economic benefit of the communities that they serve. Available to us is a home office staff of approximately 18 people that are proficient in a variety of areas. They have been and will continue to be an invaluable resource for the Rialto as we move forward. In the past 7 weeks, we have received support from the Ames office with the initial implementation of QuickBooks for accounting, the installation of a point-of-sale system purchased by the Volunteer Foundation, which allows us to now take credit cards at the bar in addition to ensuring sales and inventory accountability. We have initiated a monthly inventory of food beverage to better control our cost of goods sold and are starting to roll out an enhanced menu selection for increased ancillary sales during events. With their guidance, we have created an emergency procedure flip chart and have planned training for crowd management that complies with the NFPA fire code. The pending implementation of the Rialto Safety Committee will work directly with the home office for ongoing safety programs, and we will begin participation in the Venue Safe program that sends safety and security alerts to all of the VenueWorks facilities. In addition, we are now participating in bi-monthly marketing and talent booking calls with all the other venues in an ongoing effort to generate new ideas and possible block booking for talent. We have increased not only our box office staff, but their training in the area of Arctics and Ticketmaster, as this is an invaluable resource for reaching our customers, marketing shows, and the ability to track their entertainment buying habits. Since January, we have seen close to 7,500 patrons enjoy a variety of talent on the stage. Please note that this number does not include the dance competitions, recitals, luncheons, weddings, and other rental events. In addition, we hosted nearly 6,000 school children attending young audience performances in the 16-17 season. Looking ahead, with the successful addition of Loretta Lynn, Three Dog Night, and the reschedule of Olivia Newton-John, we are anticipating another 4,500 guests and counting, as ticket sales are still selling for those performances, in addition to the many other shows, some that have not yet been announced. Thanks to the forward thinking of Mike Trisna and Tim Berry, we added Music Mondays to the lineup, and our first show had over 300 music lovers who are fans of the craft beers, as sales reflected accordingly. As we look to the future, I am happy to report that to date, we have booked or will have performed 35 shows by the end of June, our goal having been set at 30 and with 12 offers currently pending. In addition, we are on track to be at 85% of our most successful year for hosting weddings, have reinstated the weekly theater tours, will be participating in Star Wars Days, New Orleans North, the Route 66 Street Markets, theater availability permitting, a blood drive with the American Red Cross, and are working with James Sankey on a gospel event and the Joliet Junior College Phi Theta Kappa on a community-centered event. The development team is recommitted to a relationship-based approach to generating both short and long-term revenue. Their objective is to develop and steward relationships with donors to help them participate in preserving the venue they love. Some of the strategies that will be used are sponsorship solicitation for shows and programs, major gift stewardship and solicitations, star treatment at the Rialto program promotions to increase individual donors, establishing an estate gift program, hosting special events like Twas an Ovation, identifying grant opportunities, and other special projects. I invite you to join us for our 90th anniversary year in review celebration that will be held at the Rialto Square Rotunda next Wednesday, May 24th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And that concludes my update on the past 7 weeks at the Rialto Square Theater. Thank you for the opportunity to let you know what's been going on.
Thank you. If I could say, obviously, welcome aboard. I know we've met a few times. To you and to Mr. Filato and the new board, everything we're hearing sounds terrific. And the professionalism that you brought is welcome. And I'm really glad that, I know it's going to sound a little odd, but it's nice to know someone's listening to some of the things that we've been saying up here. So thank you for being open to new ideas. Thank you for opening up to the community, either the Chamber of Commerce, City Center partnership events, or as you said, you're reaching out to other people. It's what needed to happen there. So I congratulate you and wish you luck moving forward, and I know we'll be in touch. And finally, I guess I'll leave you with a tease, because you're in the theater business. You spoke of a dedicated source of funding. We have actively been working on one, and I hope at the forum next Wednesday, I'm going to be able to make an announcement about it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Motion carried. Citizens to be heard on an agenda item. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? You come forward.
Come on up.
Good afternoon, council members. I explained and expressed myself yesterday, and I hope that it did get through. I'm here again. I don't need this kind of headache, this kind of stress. I'm retired, and they don't seem to be enjoying the retirement. And it was a good thing when you lose sometimes in the city council, because it is a big responsibility, especially if you're doing the job that you're trying to do, and most of you are. And my wife retired at the same time, and we were trying to enjoy it, but the finances just keeps leaving us behind. I'm here because the flood insurance went up. We got 4 units, it's $800 more. The mortgage payment is still there, and the banks never seem to stop increasing their, I should say, their interest and what have you, but they never call you to say that your interest has dropped down. I don't need these kind of headaches. I had to do something to add to that big building. If some of you know the old McCory's catering business building on Ape and Jackson. When I took over, it was a mess. I turned it over to its originality, ending up with a big garage, which there was an existing bathroom, existing electrical, existing everything in there, except a studio, not so-called a bedroom. I decided to do that to help our finances. That's why I'm asking for the support of the city council. The flood insurance is the killer. A lot of the people there, which was not mentioned yesterday, they kept talking about Ruby Street, but they never mentioned Henderson, Jackson Street. We get the water from up on the hill where Silver Cross is at. You don't get us all the way down. We got good drain systems on that area, but still the flood insurance is still there. A lot of the people there on 8th Street, Jackson, Henderson, and other surrounding streets, they still owe their properties, and they still gotta pay for the flood insurance. They cannot build to their houses, but they still gotta pay the flood insurance that has not happened. But yet the banks keep collecting the flood insurance. What are they doing with that money? I think that it should be left up to the people when they purchase the property to buy the flood insurance, or write down something that if it gets flooded, it's not covered due to not buying the insurance. It should be something separate and be left up to the people. But I hope that some of you councilmen will look after that and see if it can be accomplished to help and benefit some of those minority people living on the east side. I'm here to ask for your support on allowing that one bedroom for one single person in that building, which I got ample parking. I will blacktop, extend the blacktop to the back. Also, I've never had no police calls, much less have any problems with neighborhood services. For that, I thank you for giving me the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to council committee reports. Economic Development Committee report.
The Economic Development Committee met on the 11th of May at 5 o'clock in the afternoon here downstairs. On the committee is myself, Councilman Morris, and Councilman Mudrin. It was sometimes, you know, and it's true for the committee review I'll give you later for the public service, sometimes you play small ball. This is very downtown centric. I'll be brief, but I'll tell you it was a real positive committee meeting. Exciting for those that are watching economic development. We made some great strides. We're looking at bridges and Cullinan, and here's some of the small ball that comes along. First of all, we did have one that was scheduled to be discussed, so you would see it on the agenda. We didn't discuss it, so to borrow your term, Mayor, I'll give a tease. It is a four-story building downtown that will have three upper stories of residential. Is the proposal early on that needs to be ironed out with commercial downtown. News at 11, so it'll come up later. What we did discuss at the meeting, number one, was a memorandum of understanding between ourselves and the City Center Partnership. Essentially, we codified much of which has already been occurring between the City Centers Partnership, Downtown City Center Partnership, and the city, with maybe just a little bit more oversight from the council in addition to the city manager. So it was mainly a codification, but that's an important piece for the revitalization of downtown. Then we also discussed an agreement for the city-owned property at 141 East Jefferson Street, the one right next to the ballpark. And which company was that, Steve?
It is Stadium Club LLC.
Stadium Club LLC? We had two proposals. They were both fine proposals. The proposal that won, after going through, or was chosen after going through the review, and came to us, and we gave Steve and staff the authorization to further negotiate the final leasing agreement based on the terms that have already been outlined since they've been chosen. It's going to have 10 apartment units upstairs in the top 2 floors. It's going to retrofit the old elevator shaft with a new elevator. It's really going to update the building quite nicely, and it's going to have 3 commercial spaces in the base, in the street level, 2 of which already have letters of intention. Am I correct, Steve? One's a sandwich shop or a sub place.
Right. There's a LOI for a sub shop, and he's in negotiations for the second LOI.
Okay,
So it hasn't quite been signed yet.
Close to, right, to 2 of the 3 being. So that was approved, and, you know, that's something that's coming off the city ownership at that point, and we'll go back on the tax rolls, okay? And they will get the purchase, so that it's clear, is essentially they will get the building after they've accomplished $300,000 minimum in verifiable improvements, at which point the $300,000 owed to the city for the building will be forgiven. Did I state that correct, Steve? And finally, what we talked about was a tax rebate agreement for a company, SRS Distribution. They are basically a wholesale distributor who does most of their business by selling to others that resell and to contractors, many of them small and medium roofing contractors primarily, but they do roofing materials and other construction materials. They are a very successful company, been around for just several years, and have grown by leaps and bounds. Closest to us, or I guess it would be their main store or main site, is up in Naperville. They were looking all down south and southwest of Chicago, from Okina, Frankfurt area to Bolingbrook to Joliet, and then they came to us, and they're looking for a 50% tax rebate each year. They calculate it will take 4 years to pay for $300,000 in improvements, which includes the parking situation, as well as some other related items with the building. And because of the parking situation and what they're going to do with the parking lot, they're going to improve the drainage around there as well too. They predict by the end of the first year of operation that they should gross about $6 million. You know, and if they're going to pay off that $300,000 in taxes in the first 4 years, that means, since it's a 50% tax rebate, we're going to receive $300,000 in additional taxes. So it's kind of an exciting, again, small ball, but an exciting thing. They expect to grow incrementally to $12 million a year within that 4-year period. You know, that's all projections. So that's kind of what we covered in our meeting. The other was an update on the RFP for Crabigales. And we have 2 companies that have submitted, correct, Steve? Correct. And they will now pass through a committee to look at it and recommend or suggest one of the 2. We'll keep you all posted on who makes it through that committee, and ultimately to the Economic Development Committee. And that's my report, unless anybody has any questions. Or have I left anything out, Pat or Terry?
No, good. You got it all.
Okay. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you.
Finance Committee report.
Mayor, the Finance Committee comprised of Councilman Mudrin, Councilman Groh, and myself met at 5:30 this evening in the committee room to our right here. We had a short agenda. We reviewed the monthly financial reports, personnel summary, which probably had the most activity on it, with people leaving or retiring and their positions being replaced. Looks like that report will be active for the next several months. Reviewed the travel expense, invoices paid report, found them all to be in order, and recommend their approval.
Land Use and Legislative Committee report.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, we met actually this afternoon at 4:30 here in the council chamber. The Land Use Committee members are myself, along with Councilwoman Quillman and Councilman Dickerson. We had a lengthy agenda, as usual, so I try to run through it right quick. They may jump in and help me out at any time. The first item on the agenda was the ADA parking signs. We was given a report by staff that there's about 320 locations left to do for the fines, the signs with the fines on there. He also stated that the school districts will be putting their own signs up, but the city is supplying the signs. So hopefully by June of this year, it would be the signs swap will be completed. The next item on the agenda was the some discussion of the Zoning Board and Appeals Plan Commission public notification. Staff will be getting more information and getting back with us. So we're proposing to broaden the area that residents will be notified for special use appeals and plan commission. So we'll be coming back hopefully in the near future to the council for approval on some changes to the notification process. Then we also had some discussion on the LED signs. We asked the staff to look at future regulation of these signs, as far as size of the signs, and height of the signs and things of that nature for the new LED signs, because I guess our current ordinance doesn't address LED signs. Also, rope lights that a lot of the businesses using for drawing attention to their business. We also is another item that we haven't had ordinance written for that, so staff will be also bringing that back to us in the near future. Another item that has been having some attention was the inflatable bounce house, the little air inflatables that blows up.
They're not little, they're big.
Well, yeah, they are. We have no regulation of that at all, so staff will be bringing us some verbiage for regulation on those in terms of where they be located at on property, as opposed to front of the house or the side of the house and things of that nature. So that will be something that we would have ordinance on, and also in the near future to be coming to the full council. Personal property, oh, okay, garage sales, that item will be moved to the council for approval in our next meeting in terms of actually doing away with the permit for garage sales of property sales in residential districts. So we will be getting more information on that. The committee did move for the approval of doing away with the actual cost of the permit. It was seen that a lot of people was doing it anyway without coming to get permits, and only the law-abiding residents were paying for the permits. The regulation would pretty much stay the same, but it would just be a process that you won't have to come in and to City Hall and purchase a permit for a garage sale. The next items were some ordinance. There was some things that were cleaned up. We moved to the full council in our next meeting for the political sign. There was some wording that the city attorney cleaned up in that, in terms of the time frame that the political signs could be put out or left out for campaigning. So that will also be coming to the full council at our next council meeting. Then we had another ordinance amending the, what was it, the water deposit. We've had residents that you would pay, and actually the practice was being done anyway, but now the practice will be coincide with the ordinance of a deposit for water service, that everyone would be responsible for paying a deposit for water service. So that also was approved by the committee to the full council for our next meeting. So we had another ordinance amending licensing of the, where am I at? Where are my notes here? I can't even read mine. Oh, the Class G liquor license. This is for the festivals that would take place downtown Joliet. Again, it was something that we're amending and kind of bringing up to date our ordinance for liquor consumption on the public right-of-way in our downtown area. So this would pertain mainly to festivals and functions downtown Joliet. That was also moved for approval to come to the full council. And I believe our last ordinance amending that we discussed at the committee today was the, man, can't read my own writing sometimes. The parking, right? Yeah, the parking ordinance, I'm sorry, of the City of Joliet Code. Again, council did some cleaning up of the ordinance. It would be brought to the full council. Some outdated information that was in that ordinance, and then now it's more in line with the state of Illinois. Excuse me. I don't know. I missed anything, Don, Jan?
I think you did a fabulous job, but.
Thank you. You always say that, Jan.
I think
Well,
you did it
it's
all.
true. I mean, we did a lot in a short time, but, you know, just to let everybody know, we are legislative besides land use. And what we're doing now with the help of our city attorney, acting city attorney right now, Chris Regis, we're going over a lot of the ordinances because they were gone over last, 1960s, and what we've said, this is 2017, and a lot of them don't even apply, and they're not up to date with all these new lighting things and everything, technology. So what we're gonna start doing is, with his help, God love him, is go over all these ordinances and bring them up to date so that we are in compliance with not only for us, but the state statute as well.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, Marty. A lot of work.
And more to come.
Yeah.
Next is Public Service Committee report.
Just a quick statement. Now, if you're going to change the ordinances, that's fine, but I'll let you know I will resist if you try to change the $5 fine for pronouncing Joliet, either Joliet or Joliet. That needs to stay on the books.
It's going up.
We need to start collecting
Going
for
up.
that. We need to start collecting.
That's $10 as I calculate.
All right. The Public Service Committee met yesterday here at City Hall, May 15th at 4:30 in the afternoon. In attendance were committee members, Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Dickinson, and myself. Overall, there's only 3 items I'm going to mention individually. As usual, it's some pretty standard, common, and housekeeping type items. Unless anybody's interested in well pump repairs or knows what a bar screen is that was replaced, that's pretty much, as always, our agenda. However, we did send forward, and it is on tonight's agenda, approval for an engineering firm, I guess I would call it, to oversee the design and the installation of the artificial turf at the stadium. I'm not going to talk at length about it because we had a great presentation yesterday from the Slammers. Anybody watching who didn't see the presentation yesterday can go on the city website and see it. It's more of an advantage for the city and the community to have the artificial turf than the baseball team itself. The baseball team can play there with the natural grass. That limits so many other activities, sports and otherwise, that could be played there when the baseball's not being played there without damaging the field. You know, for those of us that are old enough, we remember the disco demolition at Sox Park some 35 years ago. Well, we can't have that at Slammer Stadium there. So we did push forward with a unanimous recommendation to approve the engineering firm who would also oversee the construction. The other 2 are parking related, and that's a huge topic here. One is, and both are at no cost to the city. In fact, there'll be a little bit extra revenue on one. One is going to be a 90-day trial period with a company that's going to put an automated kiosk. You know, it's going to be a trial period only on Van Buren, between Scott and Chicago Street. And you'll be able to pay for your parking, not at a parking meter, but at the kiosk using any form of, you can still pay with money at the kiosk. You can pay with your debit card, your credit card, whatever. And that's going to be, and it can lead to ultimately to cell phone or app payments too. But this is going to be a 90-day trial. If, and I'm confident it goes over well, we'll be updating, like so many other things we've been doing in the last couple of years, like the ordinances, we'll be updating parking downtown for more convenience. The second parking item, and there will be a $50 or 50 cent on the second one, convenience fee, will be for those that use the commuter lots for the train. You no longer will have to stand in line to pay for your parking. You can pay with your phone. So when it's $1, it'll be $1.50 to not use the stand in line, to use the system. So we did have a unanimous approval. And again, those 2 items, both parking items, don't need to come before the city council because it's at no cost to the city. In fact, it's revenue. So whether you're parking to take the train or you're parking to shop downtown, we're going to be updating and digitalizing the parking finally. And I think that's, for those that use that service, is something of interest. Other than that, it was just all typical change orders and payments on contracts, and it was all found to be in order, again, unanimously, and that's my report, Mayor.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of the minutes, it's recommended the minutes of the special meeting held on May 1st and the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 2nd, 2017 stand approved as recorded. Invoices paid report, it's recommended this report be received and placed on file. Council Memo 252-17, regular payroll for March 17th through March 30th, 2017, $3,167,620.36. And Council Memo 253-17, regular payroll for March 31st through April 13th, 2017, $3,245,453.75. It's recommended said regular payrolls be approved. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Thanks.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 255-17, issuance of a Class E liquor license for El Borrego de Oro at 926 Plainfield Road. It's recommended a Class E liquor license be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 256-17, transfer of a Class B liquor license for Crybabies Tap at 435 East Jackson Street. It's recommended the transfer of a Class B liquor license be approved.
Motion to
moved.
approve.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 257-17, an issuance of a Class E liquor license for Wild Horse at 2314 West Jefferson Street. It's recommended a Class E liquor license be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
No.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-1. Council Memo 258-17, issuance of a Class A1 and a full outdoor beer garden for Migraine Brewing Company located at 50 East Jefferson Street, Suite 106. It's recommended a Class A1 and full outdoor outdoor beer garden be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 259-17, transfer of a Class B liquor license for Venue Works at 102 North Chicago Street. It's recommended the transfer of a Class B liquor license be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under public hearings, Council Memo 261-17, approving the annexation of 4 acres located at 2121 South Chicago Street. It's recommended this item be tabled to the June 20th council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
To table.
Aye.
Yeah, to table this, I'm sorry, thank you. It's been motion and seconded to table Council Memo 261-17 to the June 20th council meeting. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Ordinances and resolutions. Under ordinances, Council Memo 263-17, an ordinance approving a reclassification of 1226 Plainfield Road from R2 Single Family Residential to B1 Neighborhood Business Zoning. It's recommended this item be tabled to the June 6th council meeting.
Motion to table. Second.
Been motion and seconded to table Council Memo 263-17 to the June 6th council meeting. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 264-17, an ordinance approving or a resolution denying a special use permit to allow the addition of a 4th dwelling unit efficiency apartment located at 711 East Jackson Street. Staff is recommending approving a resolution denying the special use permit.
Mayor?
Yes.
Was the staff going to work, talk with him
Well-
after yesterday's meeting or no?
I don't know, Marty, I asked if staff was going to give the reasons why they were denying this or recommending a denial.
So Mayor, what I'm going to do is defer it over to Kendall Jackson, Director of Community Development.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Staff's approach on these types of issues is to be consistent with what we have recommended in the past. When there is no building permit that was applied for or issued, as well as no history of a unit whatsoever, an additional unit whatsoever at the property. I believe a couple of weeks ago, we had a similar case come before the council, and the recommendation there was for denial as well. So it's a matter of consistency.
Just so I'm clear, because I read a memo earlier, the main reason you're recommending denial is because a permit wasn't sought before the improvements began?
Well, that's part of the reason. If a permit was sought to begin with, there would have been a consultation with the owner. We would have looked at the history of the property. The main reason is that there is no evidence of that additional unit in the history of the building there. And of course, with no permit, then it was an illegal conversion that was started.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Kendall, is there a way the petitioner asked that, or mentioned that it would only be one person in that new unit? Is there a way we can put a condition that is met and that's all it's going to be?
If that's the council's desire, we could add that as a condition.
That was my one thing. And then the other thing would be, it's unfortunate the zoning board didn't have a quorum that day, and I understand things happen, but there was 3 members on the zoning board, including the chairman, that did vote for it. That's one thing. And the other thing is, the property is currently on the rental inspection program now, correct?
That is correct.
And there hasn't been any problems?
No issues. And this additional unit that was started was discovered when they went to inspect the other units.
Okay. And then, what was my fourth one I didn't write down? I guess that's it right now then, for me.
Yes.
Kendall, setting aside for the moment that the addition was started improperly, if all things remain the same and they had come to your staff prior to starting it to get the approval, do you think you would still have the same recommendation as you have now?
Yes, because there was no history of that additional unit.
I remember my fourth one. There was no neighbor objections, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just Kendall, just one quick question. On this, by being no history, and the property has been improved, the property is on the tax rolls, the property has no issues, would that be a consideration with this particular piece of property? Would that be?
Yes.
Thank you.
Kendall, when you say there, just a clarification, when you say there was no history, does that mean, was the building permit sought to build an additional unit? Or were we taking maybe a basement and turning it into a unit? I'm kind of confused when you say there was no history.
Yeah, in this case, it was a storage area that was being turned into an efficiency apartment. It was a storage area with no history of being a residential unit.
I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around why that would disqualify having no history. I mean, if he did what he was supposed to do from a city ordinance perspective, making sure there was plumbing, making sure everything was working properly, would not having a history, be a problem if he was in compliant with all the city ordinances?
Yes, that is a consideration. We have had cases come before the zoning board as well as the city council in a similar vein where landowners have sought the approval for additions of units that were not there before. This is not any different than any of those other cases.
And was that met favorably? I mean, did they kind of, or
No, I mean, we have always been consistent in recommending a denial.
Okay.
The council has overturned that in the past.
Okay. And then one last thing, Mayor, was there any issues with residents, any complaints with residents as far as, noise and bad behavior and that sort of thing? Any?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know, Kendall, you spoke to Mr. Matthews that was here, his situation where he wanted, to turn that. But in his situation, there was a lot of violations. I thought was our main reason, because from my remembrance, if he had met the requirements that staff had put forth to him, we would have allowed him to put that extra unit in there, if I remember correct.
Well,
he did everything that staff had laid out for him to do.
That was a path that we provided to Bishop Matthews.
To get to that.
In the event that the council decided to overturn our recommendation, we were giving him a path to essentially have that unit be legal. In this case, it would be the same issue. If the council decides to overturn our recommendation, we'll work with the property owner to make sure that everything is in order. But Bishop Matthews' case was similar. He was adding an additional unit where there was no history of that in the past.
But Kendall, and I guess that's probably his problem, because at one point it was, and he took the extra unit out, the kitchen out and all of that. But I don't want to really get back into all of that. But that's why I see it's a little similarity and then there's a little difference. Because Bishop Matthews' unit, when he purchased it, it was a three unit.
There were 3 spaces. That particular property had a history of commercial use. It has commercial zoning. We could not find evidence of residential use in that additional unit.
Okay. Okay. Right. We don't go back. Okay. Thanks, Ken.
You're welcome.
I just have one question, Mayor.
Yes.
After the rental inspection, were there any violations at all on any of the other apartments?
I do not have that inspection report in front of me. I don't know. I know that the property owner has been in the rental inspection program for a while on that property, and I don't believe he has a history of having any issues there as it relates to rental inspection of his existing legal units.
Any calls for service to that?
Again, I can't attest to that.
That's kind of information we need.
Can you answer that? Do you want to speak to that, Mr. Ledesma? If you could approach the microphone, please.
About a month or so ago, I had inspected, and the only violation that I had was one door that needed to be replaced due to it was a single door that it's not correct for an entrance that's been replaced. And usually it happens to everybody, the tenants, instead of replacing the batteries on the alarm systems, the smoke detectors, they don't replace them, and that was the only problems that I had. And if you will check with the neighborhood services, they got a record on it. I've always been up with my buildings. I'm very responsible.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Service. These calls.
no one knows. Chief, do you know, is it what has it ever, off the top of your head, veered into what we term nuisance properties from the calls and service?
I'm sorry, I don't have that information here today.
It used to be with the zoning board minutes, but nobody seems to be getting those zoning board accurate minutes anymore, so that we could look through that. I noticed, on different side notes, some zoning members were complaining about it as well, so it's kind of information we need.
Your Honor, would the zoning board did they have access to that information at their meeting?
With respect to calls for service, I do not believe there was a report.
Or the inspection program? Or
Yes, they do have access to.
They do have access to
yes,
that?
Yes.
Okay.
Kendall, we,
If, Your Honor?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
If there's no motion to approve the staff recommendation, I would move to approve the special use permit, adding one condition that the extra unit would only have one person occupying it.
I don't think you can do that. Can you do that legally?
I'll second it.
Is that a motion? Oh, okay.
That's a motion.
Seconded. It's been motioned and seconded to adopt an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow the addition of a fourth dwelling unit located at 711 East Jackson Street, with the condition that only one person occupied the extra unit. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
No.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
I'm really at a loss here. There's information that I want that I can't get. You know, I don't know. I'll pass.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Motion carried, 6-1 and a pass. Council Memo 265-17, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow construction of a 65-foot high wireless communication monopole and related equipment located at 15 Osgood Street for T-Mobile and other future wireless communication providers, and a resolution authorizing execution of a lease agreement with EchoSite LLC, a Delaware limited liability company. The applicant is here if anyone has any questions as well. It's recommended said ordinance and resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve said ordinance and resolution. Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 269-17, a resolution authorizing the acquisition of 809 Adler Street. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin? Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 270-17 is a resolution authorizing membership in the Lower Des Plaines Watershed Group. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 271-17, a resolution declaring property of the City of Joliet as surplus. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
And motion seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under bids and contracts, award of contracts, Council Memo 273-17, authorization to pay Will County Sheriff's Office warrant processing fees. Council Memo 274-17, award a contract for the Well 20D reinstallation project 2017. Council Memo 275-17, award a contract for the West Side wastewater treatment plant bar screen replacement project 2017. Council Memo 276-17, award a contract for the Caton Crossing Subdivision Storm Sewer Repair Improvements 2017. Council Memo 277-17, award a contract for professional engineering design services, construction management for the Joliet Minor League Baseball Park. Council Memo 278-17, award a contract for the Caton Farm Road Streetlight Project 2017. Council Memo 279-17, authorization for Enernoc, Inc. to conduct a natural gas reverse auction. It's recommended Council Memos 273 through 279-17 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 280-17 approved change order number 2 and payment request number 12 and final for the 2016 City of Joliet aggregate contract. Council Memo 281-17 approved change order number 8 for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Influent Pumping Station and Screen Replacement Project. Council Memo 282-17 approved change order number 1 for the Network WAN refresh. It's recommended Council Memos 280 through 281 through 282-17 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
No report, thank you.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Not tonight.
Marty, if you don't do a report, you gotta come up here and do a soft shoe for us.
Oh, no.
there is a need for a request for executive session tonight.
Oh, no.
Next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
Done. New business?
Nothing.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the issues. I met with some of the social service directors, and I'd like to schedule a diversity committee meeting to have them to come forth and talk about that, kind of let us know what issues they're facing. And also, I'm trying to schedule that meeting for next week, but however, my illustrious councilwoman will be on a well-deserved vacation. And
you.
My other committee member may be out as well. So I want to, and I'll get with Jeff, maybe schedule that for a week later. Would that be, because I would love to have both of you on that, at that committee meeting. I think that this is something that this council should hear.
In the meantime, would you want to just meet to get the conversation going? Just you
Well, we can
one-on-one?
do that.
I
I
mean,
can do
because
that.
I know you were in a hurry to get this going. It just happens that it's been planned for a while. So, I mean, if you want to start the dialogue, that'd be fine with me. But if you
And so
don't,
we
we
do
can,
that.
you know, have the committee as a whole. I'm good with either one.
Okay. Well, I would love to get the dialogue going, get the conversation started. And then, Mayor, would like for you to kind of pop in that meeting if you're available, sir.
Yeah, no, I'll be available.
Okay.
There's a real need for this. I heard it again today. You hear it all over town. And everyone's looking for answers, so
Yes.
obviously the city's not gonna be the end-all to solve this problem, but I do think doing it in the committee format's the right way to do it. And if we could develop some type of plan, instead of approaching other units of government with what we wanna do here in Joliet, to help keep these places afloat as
Absolutely.
best as we
'Cause
can.
It's a well-deserved. And my other comment right quickly is I wanted to know if we had talked about moving the statue, the Catherine Dunham statue, from the train station. I'm getting a lot of calls and a lot of suggestions as to where it will be placed. How much time do we have? Marty, who do I direct that question?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
To move the statue, the Catherine Dunham statue.
We've actually put together a committee to make a determination of what we're going to do. It's a little complicated because it's all one giant piece, so there's kind of some options of what are we going to do to basically keep it from breaking.
Absolutely. So I know it's got to be moved for the construction.
Yes. So we'll be moved for construction, and then just a matter of what are we going to do with it after that. So Mr. Jackson and Mr. Schwartz are kind of put in charge of what are we going to do with the statue moving forward, whether we're going to put it back in that location or a different location.
Okay, because I'm getting several calls about where the location would be.
There there are some magazines out there which keep it at the train station, so that's where we're hoping to keep it there, but, you know, again, it's still kind of a fluid thing right now.
Will there be space, or I mean, with the landscaping and everything of the new station, we'll have space to put it there?
Marty, if I could weigh in on that.
Please, sir.
Excuse me, Councilwoman. Yes, we met on site last week with a gentleman who is with Friends of Community Art. And he was the original artist that put the statue up there. And he's consulting us on how to move it, how to store it until we find a final resting place. We did identify a possible location at the train station. Actually, it would be a more prominent location for the statue than where it is now. But that's all to be determined.
Okay, all right. Well, that's great, and I'm glad we're starting on it, because the train station too, we talked about a couple of locations, you know, Bicentennial Park, but the train station gives it more visibility, and I think that's what the calls that I'm getting is referring to. So thank you so much, Kendall. Keep me in the loop on that.
We will. Thank you.
I would just make a suggestion to the councilwoman, as the mayor said, and we all understand, ultimately, the responsibility for the funding of the social agencies and their shortfalls into the state. So let's make sure as a city we reach out to our state reps to come to these meetings.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
On it, sir.
I think they need to hear what's going on back home here in real time. That's it.
Terry?
I have none.
Jan?
No.
Next is public comments. We have a representative from Joliet Public Library.
Good evening. My name is Megan Millen. I'm Executive Director of Joliet Public Library. As you know, each year, in conjunction with several partners, our Star Wars Day program draws nearly 10,000 people to downtown Joliet. It's the largest George Lucas sanctioned library event in the world, apparently, and it's the largest one-day library event in the state of Illinois. We're very proud of our fun and ever-growing extravaganza, and it's my great pleasure to personally invite each of you to attend this year. If you let us know that you're coming, we'd be happy to announce your presence on our main stage. And we've actually brought some really adorable helpers to deliver your invitations tonight. We have one from the dark side and one from the light side.
Oh, boy. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
Dark Vader. That is so cute.
Come on.
Dark. Oh, dark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lou.
Sounds beautiful invitation.
Thank you, Darth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May the force be with you. You got a smile on that one.
Thank you for your time, and we hope that we'll see you all on June 3rd from 11 till 4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's yours. You got that?
It's a busy day.
You got your name on it.
June 3rd.
Next is Robert Webb.
That's a proclamation. Over at
In the name of the Most High, Creator of heaven and earth, Yahweh, on behalf of the reasonable thinking human beings here on planet Earth, particularly those who happen to be constitutional citizens of the United States for America, I extend to this council my greetings of peace and friendship. As we all know, I'm not here to stroke anybody's ego with any false flattery or to make anybody feel good. I'm basically here to remind this council why and what we're actually here for. As we all know, in this republic that we live in, all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, to be some of those. Some time ago, before Thomas Stannis was instrumental in taking down all those particular documents representing our republic, he indicated that they were going to be eventually put back up there. So far, they haven't reappeared. But it's a reminder in terms of what a republic is. We all know the republic has been under attack by those who are advocating democracy. We know there's a big difference between a republic and a democracy. In the republic, it's individual freedom. Every man is treated equal, and looked at as equal. And all men have to respect and abide by the law. One of the laws that those who are involved in the statutory law is 5 ILCS 14/3 of the Freedom of Information. Under 140/3, inspection of copying of public records, it has various things that a person can do. When I mean by a person, I'm talking about private persons. And for you all understand what I mean by a constitutional citizen, you'll know what I mean by a private person. If not, I suggest that you all check the website, Citizenship and Sovereignty. I'll tell you all about it. Maybe you'll be able to better understand what I'm saying the next time I come. I had submitted a request for, through the Freedom of Information Act, back in early March 2013. And I made it very clear that it was being submitted for the purpose of inspecting documents with the possibility of copying them. I also indicated that I wanted to be contacted by telephone and be informed about when the time and the date and the place where those documents will be available so that I can inspect them to select the ones that I want to have copied, which is allowable by the Freedom of Information Act. You get to inspect the documents, and then you get to select the ones that you want to get. It went to the police department. I was waiting, never got a call. So I decided to walk over there today and find out what was the status of this Freedom of Information. So I got this letter that was issued by the Deputy Chief of Police of Technical Services. And again, the Freedom of Information says you get to inspect to select, which means you bring out all the documents in the category and let a person run their fingers through the documents and select which ones that they want to get. And then they'll let you know, this is what I have a need of having copied. That's the law of the state of Illinois under the Freedom of Information Act. It doesn't state that, well, we'll give you what we want to give you, or we'll come up with a reason why we can't give it to you.
Mr. Ward, we have the 4-minute mark, if you could please wrap it up.
As those who have taken the oath to support the Constitution to the best of their ability, public elected officials, you have a legal duty that you owe the people to ensure that their rights are honored and respected and protected. Now, this response that I got back really doesn't protect or respect my rights under the statute. So my whole point is that until those documents are put back over that wall and you all take the time to read them and understand what a republic it really is, I mean, especially when you say the Pledge of Allegiance, the republic for which it stands, then you'll start beginning to obey the laws or ensure that the laws are enforced and supported, particularly when it comes to the freedom of information.
Thank you.
I'm not
Christoph?
finished.
Yeah, you are.
No, no.
You're over your time limit.
Well,
Take a seat, please.
Did you
Go
say
ahead,
that?
Christoph.
Did you say that when other people were standing up here?
Is there
that
anyone
they were
else
over
that
their
would
3
like to
minutes?
speak under public comments?
Or are you discriminating again?
Mr.
Once
Webb, can you
again,
please
as
sit
an
down?
officer of the court,
Okay, have him take a seat, please.
you're not supposed to be in the legislative branch of the government anyway. It violates the separation of powers of the country.
Is there anyone else that would like, you can approach the podium, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just briefly, my name is Joe Coyle. I was here on one of the ordinances, a special use permit for the 65-foot monopole that was put forth today. I stuck around for the public comments because I just wanted you to all know what a great job Mr. Jackson, Mr. Shanahan, and Mr. Schwartz did. You have some very responsive people there, very professional, and They've been working since last year on putting this deal together that I think is a win-win for both the city and my client. And I just wanted to recognize those folks that I worked with over a long period of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Next is mayor and council comments.
No, I've got nothing.
Just one quick one. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Joliet United States Postal Service workers. Last weekend, they organized a food drive throughout the city. I'd like to thank the postal workers and all the residents that gave food. I think they got over 48,000 pounds of food that was collected to fill the shelves of our pantries, our churches, and feed those that are needy. So big ups to the Joliet postal workers.
Larry. Just a belated Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I hope you had a good day.
Just real quickly, on June 4th in the Van Buren Plaza on Chicago Street there, it's going to be Adopt a Rescue Pet. It's from 10 to 2, and they want celebrities there. They invited the whole city council to come, and also if your pet looks like you, like that one on TV now, they want you to come down and get a picture, and it's going to be a really fun event, and hopefully many, many furry babies will find some good homes. That's it.
Mayor, I'd just like to thank those individuals who took part in organizing the salute to the police officers on Saturday for the parade and the rally or party over at the Slammer Stadium. I think it was a great event, and I think it's only going to grow year after year.
Okay, I have a number of comments. Number one, I was at Cedar Sanchez School a couple weeks ago. I was invited to see their PALS program. It's Parents as Literacy Supporters. And their staff and teachers at Cedar Sanchez that volunteer their time after school, they're not getting paid, but they stay after to meet with the parents of the students, many of whom are either illiterate or can't speak English, to teach them English-speaking skills and try to help them, put them in a position where they can help their children with their homework. So it's a great program, and a real big shout out to the staff at Cedar Sanchez for doing this. Again, really going above and beyond the call of what they're paid to do. I want to thank the Historical Museum. On May 6th, it was this early Saturday morning, I was there with Councilman Dickinson. They had a number of people come through the museum, including a group from Czechoslovakia. They're really doing good work over there. It was mentioned earlier about the limestone tour that was done this last weekend, so I think they're really, again, starting to think out of the box and move forward, and I want to congratulate them and thank them for what they're doing. Last week, I was at a reception for new mayors in Will County, put on by the Will County Governmental League. I do want to thank the Governmental League for the work that they do here in Joliet, and specifically Hugh O'Hara. I think some of the senior staff members know Hugh's been a great resource, and we don't have a lobbyist in Springfield. Probably the closest thing we have is Hugh O'Hara and his group. So thank you, Hugh, for the work that you've done for the city. Saturday night, Redeemed Connection Ministries and Reverend Heath had a program they put on, a graduation program for the young men that have gone through Reverend Heath's difficult program, challenging program. I want to thank Reverend Heath and also Councilwoman Gavin and Councilman Morris. I know you've been instrumental. Reverend Heath is going to have a summer work program going with some youth from the area, teaching them job skills and getting some young people off the streets and giving them hope. So thank you, Reverend Heath, for all the work that he's doing. Sun Hill Nursing Home, I was there this week. I read a proclamation. Of course, it was signed by me, but it was given by the whole council to kick off National Nursing Home Week. So thank you to the nice people at Sunny Hill and the good work they're doing there. There were 2 meet and greets today. Councilman Mudrin, I know you were at both of them with me, and Councilman Girl, I saw you this morning at First Community Bank to welcome their new CEO. And then this afternoon at the Center for Disability, the new president and CEO, Randy Chapman. And then also today, University of St. Francis had a forum. Again, Councilman Mudrin, you were there. Tracy Spezia put it on with the university. It was a great on-the-table forum discussing community issues and recommendations for different areas where people thought the city of Joliet could seek improvement. So thank you, St. Francis and Tracy Spezia. And then finally, to echo your statements, Councilman Turk, about the Salute the Blue Parade, Richard Fredrickson and Lauren Lass at the parade. I said Lisa Lass. Lauren Lass did a great job putting that on. That was a new idea, and I really want to credit the City Center Partnership, again, for taking the initiative, thinking out of the box, trying something new. The turnout was a little bit low, but there's no reason to believe it's not going to grow. Everybody who was there, including the 2 visiting mayors, Missy Schumacher from Shanahan and Mayor Solomon from Crest Hill, were raving about the parade, what a great idea it was, and thanking us for putting that on. I know the police departments, Chief Benton, you spoke about the appreciation that the officers showed. So thank you to City Center Partnership. It was a good idea. It got people into downtown Joliet, which is what we're all striving for, and it was a nice way to salute the officers after what really was a tough year for law enforcement. So that's all the comments I have. Thank you.
Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Motion carried.